Alright, y'all. I'm back on this YouTube stuff, and I've decided great way to come into 2020 is to talk about 2019 of For Honor, aka Year of the Harbinger. I think it was a good year despite all the flaws and everything, but I still want to talk about it, especially how I feel about the four characters they've given us over Year of the Harbinger. And I think, despite what I'm about to say about all these characters, I still think they're all good characters. Of course, they need tweaks and whatnot and all the minor things, but they're still great for what they are. And they're all great for different reasons, at least in my opinion. And I'm gonna tell y'all today my favorite characters from least favorite to favorite. So I'm gonna start at my number four pick for the year three characters. And my first pick, my least favorite character is Blackbriar. And he's my least favorite. I know everybody loves Blackbriar. Blackbriar this, Blackbriar that, Blackbriar this, and more Blackbriar that. But like, I just can't get behind the hype. When Blackbriar released, I've never liked the way he looked. And then his whole, aside from the aesthetic, his whole like story was just kind of. I mean, it wasn't bad. Like the stories are all good. But like, I don't know. I wasn't feeling anything about Blackbriar in terms of appearance and like backstory and whatnot. Excuse me. Whew. Oh my god. And then when it came to his gameplay, when he first released, I tried to play Blackbriar and I got a couple reps in him, but I just got so bored with him. He just wasn't very fun, despite, and especially on release when he was pretty much unpunishable. Like, you couldn't do anything to this man. Like, he punishes you for punishing him. That's how unpunishable he was. He was a complete idiot-proof character. He still kind of is now, but like back then it was really worse. It was a lot worse. And so, to me, he just wasn't very interesting. But like, he functions really well, and he's a pretty well-rounded character. And I mean, when I mean well-rounded character, I mean he functions well in duels, brawls, any 4v4 game mode. Like, if anybody plays Blackbriar in any game mode, it will, unless they're bad, it can't hurt. It can't hurt your team. It really can't. Because Blackbriar, and I hate to say this, like, he's probably, since out of the year four characters, he's probably the most, I guess, meta you could say, and he's like, I don't want to say nearly flawless, but he's like just about flawless, and he's a character he's a character that's basically, like I said earlier, idiot proof. And it sounds harsh, but I mean that's the reality. Like, he's an idiot proof character. It really is. Like, the only way you fuck up so badly on Blackbriar is if you're goofing off, which is perfectly fine. That's why we play games, to have fun. But another issue, I feel like Blackbriar really highlights this issue, and I've heard this before in like a freeze video, is that not all things are created equal, which is sad because Blackbriar was created as a very strong character. Despite what I think about his gameplay being uninteresting and, his aesthetic, like the way he looks and all that, despite me thinking that stuff is pretty terrible and like uninteresting, like, he's still a really great character. Like, the only times I'll ever play him is if I really just kind of want to mellow out and chill, and I just kind of want an easy win. Because for the most part, I don't struggle much with Blackbriar unless I'm goofing off, which, perfectly fine. But another thing with him is, like, he started off year three. He gave us such a great start to year three, and it's not, it is mostly because of the way he's designed and everything like that, but like, his start gave us super high expectations, which I'm not going to say my expectations were actually very low at the start of the year, because the Wulin, to like the characters who came up before, they weren't very, at least in my eyes. I try to look at things from a very long, like a very long point of view. Like, I try to see into the future with these characters, which is why when the Wulin came out, I wasn't freaking out, because they weren't all that crazy to me. And so Black Prior, I saw him from the beginning as a strong character, and he was just boring to me, but he gave me hope that all the characters would be strong, which come to find out they're not. But as that's like aside from him being beloved by the community, I mean, he's a knight hero. Like the community loves knights. I mean, I have a feeling Ubisoft might even have a bias towards knight because they shaft everything else. But I mean, he's loved by the community mostly because he's a knight. He's pretty easy to play, and he's meta. Of course, people are gonna go on this fake deep rant about, oh well, he Black Poyo changed the game. Like he make the game so much more interesting. I don't believe the hype, and I'm not gonna follow that hype. But like that's a rant for like a whole entire different day. I'm gonna go on to my pick for my number 3 spot, and that's Jormungandr. And the reason why I got Jormungandr down in my number 3 is I'm pretty sure for most people don't like Jormungandr, like at all. Maybe playing as him, they like him just a little bit, but like for me, I mean, I like playing as Jormungandr. It was kind of fun, but like just like with Black Prior, his aesthetic is lacking, and there's to me at least there's very little debate about that. I mean, to me personally, he looks better than Black Prior, or he she whatever looks better than Black Prior, but like then again, Black Prior for me at least had the bar so low that like anything literally beats Black Prior. But it's just Yorm's kind of lacking at least in the look department. The stories are great for the Yorm characters, and then for his gameplay, it's like an absolute roller coaster. I don't understand how Ubisoft managed to do this, but it's confusing because like Jormungandr can either be so much fucking fun, right, that you just like can't stop playing him, or he's an absolute nightmare where you're not going to be touching anybody like at all because all people are just going to do is back up on a single timer once they see orange or once they see something. And I mean, you got those undodgeable lights, but like if you have to do undodgeable lights every time because the person's just going to back up, that's not fun. It isn't fun. Backing up, people who back up, not fun. Quit being pussies. And he's just Jormungandr. He can be so much fun. I feel like he's very underrated, and he just gets a lot of hate from the community, despite being such a terrible character. And I mean, when I say terrible character, I mean like he's not meta. Like Jormungandr can't do much of anything. He's like even I'm pretty sure even in like the community like I guess the what do they call it, the viability table or whatever, because I'm not going to call it a tier list anymore because people are too caught up with the tier list. But in the whole viability charts, he's all the way like he's at the bottom. Like he's not a very good character, and it's sad because Jormungandr has a lot of potential, and he teases a new fighting style. Everybody will say, oh well, he's just Sent 2.0, despite Sent debatably being better than like Jormungandr, but like he teases at a completely new or somewhat a variation of a fighting style that we already have. And I'm not gonna say he makes it interesting because interesting is subjective and defined by each individual. Of course, the community is going to gang up and say he's not interesting, but like I don't care what the community thinks. But he teases at a new fighting style that instead of doing direct damage, he does damage to the stamina and then he does his direct damage. So basically, it's supposed to be, I guess, in their minds, in Ubisoft's minds, it's supposed to be he does damage in increments to the stamina, and then he gets you on the ground, and then he does damage, which sounds like it can't, to me at least, that sounds like it can't be fun because, that's something different. There's really not a character in my mind that really compares to that. Of course, you can say, oh, well, Bashiros can do that, Centurion can do that. I mean, Centurion, he's a bit of a different one. He's not necessarily, he gets you out of stamina. Of course, if he gets you out of stamina, it's easier for him. But with Cent, it's more about getting caught by the punch, which realistically isn't going to happen anymore. But, back way when, in the dark days of For Honor, you could get caught by that punch and put on your ass. And then, like, it's just so sad that, it's a fighting style that could definitely, with some tweaking, and they play around with some things like stamina, Yorm's values and stuff like that. They could definitely make it work, and so it's not frustrating. So people don't hate Yorm just to hate him. Ubisoft could do that. I don't understand why they haven't gotten there yet, but they'll get to it eventually, I'm sure. And then another thing with Jormungandr was on release. Oh my god, the community had such unrealistic expectations, and it actually made me laugh. Everybody was thinking Jormungandr was going to be this big, super armored, like Viking who like has a big two-handed hammer. English is hard, y'all. A big two-handed hammer and just like destroys people with it. But like me personally, I knew the hammer was going to be about the size that they gave us in game, because I mean the weapons are pretty much all based on, like, for the most part, historically accurate weapons, and for the most part, like every weapon in the game, with the exception of like Hitokiri's Masakari, like everything's pretty much historically accurate to a degree, at least from what I know. But I'm not some historian expert. I just kind of do some little research on my own every now and then. But like that, I don't want to talk about Yorm anymore either, because that's really all I have to say about Yorm. So there wasn't even much to begin with. What really stuck out to me about Yorm is just that he's a complete tease, and his release was absolutely hilarious because of the community. I've also got the next part of this video recorded and all. I just have to do all the editing magic and whatnot. It's pretty obvious it's pretty obvious what characters I'm gonna have at the the 2-in-1 spots, and I'm still gonna upload the video just so y'all can see my thoughts on it, and we can still talk about it and whatnot. So stay prepared for that. So to anybody who watched this, I greatly appreciate it. It means a lot. And now from here, like, let's just kind of talk about it in the comments below. If you got any comments about what I've said so far about Black Prior and Yorm, feel free to comment your opinion, give me feedback on what you thought of literally just anything. It don't matter to me. And yeah, let's have a conversation.